Hi, I thought that the Remember the Titan video clips were awesome in showing how that relates to leadership in a school. Coach Boone does an awesome job of leading his team in the movie, and he does a great job of building relationships, having a good attitude, and making sure that his teammates know that he's there for them. One of the biggest things that I think he talks about is overcoming adversity, and that can be related to school in so many ways, not only with race. When I think about my school, since it is such a small school, and since we do not have very much diversity, that's one of the big problems that I see in my school is the overcoming adversity. So I think it's great that he forces his team to overcome that adversity and build relationships with each other regardless of their race. Not only that, but I think that overcoming adversity means a lot more than just race. It could mean the ability level of students in a school, or the ability level of teachers, or things that they might have to overcome with money setbacks or things like that. Um, Coach Boone does a great job of showing his teammates that you can very easily overcome adversity and become better as people and as players by doing that and uniting. He also talks about challenging authority and to his assistant coach and talking about how that cripples them for life. And I think that is a very good thing for him to show as well, because if you're constantly challenging authority, it's going to be hard for you to become better and um, do what you need to do as a teacher. The other thing I kind of wanted to mention with that was attitude. So I think that it was Jordan who talked about the attitude reflects leadership quote, which I think is awesome as well. And attitude to me is something that's huge in a school, um, because if you have a bad attitude as a leader, that's going to carry over to your staff and make them have that same bad attitude towards you or towards your school. I have a particular teacher that I have in my school that has an attitude that's always like, they can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do that. And I have I've had to say to her before in conversations, well, no, they can do that. You just have to expect them to do that, and you have to make them do that. You have to help them do that. You have to guide them to do that. So the I can't attitude on anyone is always something that's not going to help you progress any further. The last thing that I wanted to talk about with that was how he or Coach Boone builds relationships. I think it was Mike that said, if you win as a team, win as a team if you don't know the team. Or I'm sorry, you can't win as the team if you don't know the team. Um, and then he kind of talked about communication and feedback with that as well, which was something that I didn't really think about either. Whenever he talked about how he had to report back to the coaches, so that was a good example of communication as well. One thing I wanted to add to that was um, the building relationships aspect of being able to be a team. If you're in a school and you're a school leader, the first thing that I think you should do is really work on focusing building relationships with your staff, because it's going to be hard for you to make decisions about your staff if you don't know exactly what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what their strengths are, and what their weaknesses are. Um, so I think that building relationships aspect is very, very key in effective schools and effective leadership. Um, and building relationships as a classroom teacher is something that I think is very important as well. I'm going to end with a quote that I have on my bulletin board, very, very big, that I say all the time, and that's teamwork makes the dream work.